Hi, everyone. It's Andy from Mountain Youth with Andy, and of course, with Amanda Beth Johnson. I am having so much fun with Amanda lately. We've been popping into each other's feeds, and it's just so exciting working together, moving forward, helping a lot of people with different things. And every week we have different topics. I loved your emotion, your smoothie elixir yesterday. I thought that was pretty amazing. So if people haven't reached out to you for that, make sure you check out Amanda's Transformation Tuesdays, and figure out your smoothie elixir. I thought that was actually really cute yesterday, so I love that. Um, Today, I would love to talk about all the crazy chemicals that we are exposed to every day without even knowing about it, right? I think there's a latest study that shows that we are exposed to about 80,000 chemicals daily without us even knowing about it. It's
Obviously, we don't know about it because I would not knowingly
what the
expose
hell, man?
myself to 80,000. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, right? Like because there's like 80,000 synthetic chemicals that use in the U.S. So it's like we're just exposed to so many of these, and of course, some of us are probably more so than others, depending on your work and everything,
Mhm.
right? You know what I'm saying? But it's sort of crazy because a lot of people they think that if these chemicals are allowed to be used, they must be safe, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that thinking that, yeah, somebody allowed this to happen. Well, yeah, well, this one's going to be hard to not go down that conspiracy rabbit hole. You put me off to this one, Andy.
Well, that's sort of where I'm leading to because I have an exciting guest coming back on our Friday's Chronically Healthy Life show, and it is going to be talking about chemicals specifically. But it's sort of scary because a lot of these chemicals that are deemed safe, FDA or any of these regulations, they deem safe by X amount of use. Like you're only exposed to so much daily, right?
Right.
For instance. But what people don't do is they don't add the math. It's like they may have daily of this chemical in their skincare, and then they have it in their shampoo, and then they have it in their soap, and then they have it in the deodorant. All of a sudden, now you're like 4, 5, 6 times over the safe limit.
Right.
And that's not even including what's in your water, what's in your food, right? So it's sort of crazy because like a lot of people says, well, it's safe. Well, technically, yes, it's safe if you're exposed once, but so many of us are exposed multiple times throughout the day. And it's almost to the point we all need to live in a bubble if we don't want to be exposed, right?
Well, yeah, but then what is your bubble made of?
Exactly.
I mean, and that sounds really like we're fear mongering, and I don't think our intention
Oh
is
no, not at
through
all.
fear, but just awareness, being aware,
Yes.
because it's kind of like, we've been harping on reading food labels.
Yes.
If you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't be eating it. But if we look at that percentage, so as you're talking about, this toxin is safe in one application of deodorant, but it doesn't talk about all the other things. And that's like when
Yeah.
you're putting together your recommended daily allowance of vitamins and nutrients,
Hmm.
and it
Same
tells you what
thing.
the percentage
Yeah.
is for, so if you're looking to hit your vitamin C, how many things you need to eat, you can add that up.
Correct.
But when we're doing the exclusion, that's just the opposite, when we're
Exactly.
excluding those things. And so, yes, when there's regulations on those things, and I don't think that many of us fully understand what that is.
Hmm.
We talk about, like, I know for women, there's been the big push to go to natural deodorant,
Yes.
which, if anyone has gone on that bandwagon,
Mm.
that is a huge adventure in and of itself. You don't just ditch your old stuff and start using chemical free stuff. There's
Correct.
a lot of things that go with that, and they don't educate you on that. And so a lot of people are not able to stick with using the natural deodorant because they don't
Mhm.
understand all the other parts that go with it. It's not just that simple change, but looking at those things and understanding what the chemicals are. And I think that women probably have a better sense of what we shouldn't be doing, because now they're advertising all of our shampoos and deodorants and things as being sulfate free, phthalate free, all of those things.
Yes.
But that's the first time we ever knew those things had even been in our stuff.
Exactly. It's been in our stuff for like the last 30, 40, 50 years. And now that, there's alarms sounding, and once again, they're only labeling the obvious ones.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean they took out all the bad chemicals. It's the chemicals that they're not talking about. They're not, like the health conspiracy theorists like us aren't talking about. They don't take those out of they don't take those out of those products, right? So it's sort of scary, because a lot of these chemicals, these toxins, are hormone disruptors, right? And for women, it can be a big deal. It can really mess up your thyroid. A lot of people are having Hashimoto's now, and back in the day, from my understanding, it was usually just women that had that, but like so many men have Hashimoto's now too.
Right. Yeah, it's big. And some of those things, I think that they also, traditionally that's a woman disease, so we don't even consider it for men.
Exactly.
And then when you get doctors who are looking at things and looking at, it's a human being, not male or female. It's a human being, and what these symptoms produce and come together, and what diagnosis they have, and then what are they doing to treat it?
Exactly.
Are we giving you a pill, or are we telling you how to clean up your lifestyle?
Exactly. And it's sort of scary, because I always, when I talk about this with men in the room, and I was saying a lot of these are estrogen mimickers,
Mhm.
right? And, for women, if your estrogen is too high, it's not a good thing either, right? But technically, when your estrogen's higher, it lowers your testosterone. It's going to be harder to have muscle, but that's why men typically have more muscle than women,
Mhm.
right? Because they have, less testosterone, right? So for a lot of men, I say, look, like drinking from water bottles, like your shampoo, your conditioner, your skincare. Like most men don't use skincare, but some people do,
Mhm.
right? And they usually buy the cheapest one available, because they don't think there's any difference, right? And then like all of a sudden they say, hey, I'm working out a lot, and they're just getting softer. And when I'm saying softer, they're becoming more huggable, which is not necessarily a good thing for men. I'll be honest, right? 2 years ago, I had this client that was recommended to me, and he was, he does Orange Theory religiously. I don't know if you're familiar with Orange Theory. It's basically they strap on a heart rate monitor, and then it's like HIIT exercise. You're running hard, and then you're doing strength exercise, but it's like one of those boutique fitness places, right? And he was going 5 times a week, right? So you cannot say this guy was not working out. Right. But the reason he was recommended to me, and I hope I don't get in trouble saying this on air, is he was developing man boobs.
Mhm.
Like it's a thing. And
It is a thing.
lot of people don't think about that, right? A lot of times you get those when you get obese, right? If you get very fat, these are fat deposits, right?
Right.
But when your estrogen becomes really high, and this guy was skinny, like he was hella skinny, but his man boobs were very obvious through his t-shirt. So he cannot wear anything fitted, right? And he was asking me, Andy, like, how do I work? How much more do I work out? What do I need to do? I was like, no workout's going to fix this problem.
Right.
Like, we need to look at the root problem, figure out what that is, detox all that crap out of your body, and start eating healthier to build lean muscle, right? So sure enough, within about 4 to 6 months, we got rid of his man boobs, right? But a lot of people don't understand that, right? And they hide in shame, right? It's like, I have friends, like guys that will wear shirts, and it's not like they're hella fat, but they're wearing like a loose shirt when they're swimming, right? Because once again, they're trying to hide it. And I was thinking, rather than hide it, like you should try to figure out what's causing it.
But that's also goes to the whole stereotypical as part of aging.
Yes.
So, and if we look at the hormone balance, I mean, men have estrogen, but when your testosterone gets lower, that estrogen accelerates. Just like with women, as women's estrogen falls, their testosterone raises, That's why women get a mustache.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know, we get that
That's true.
mustache going,
Yeah.
and men get the man boobs. And
Yeah.
there are other things that contribute to that, but all of those things that are estrogen driven, you
Mhm.
know, not that you're going estrogen is in plants. And
Yes.
so doing that plant-based stuff, you know, and when the whole dairy was the diet craze, you know,
Mhm.
go to dairy, that will slim you down. And
Yeah.
all the commercials created that hourglass thing, and women were supposed to increase their dairy. Well,
Correct.
when they increase their dairy, they're increasing, I mean, what makes milk?
Mhm.
I mean, when you're creating more dairy, you're creating more milk in a cow. It's because you give them the hormones to
Yeah.
stimulate that milk production that stimulates. And so now humans are consuming all this extra milk.
Mhm.
We're growing boobs.
Correct. Correct.
You didn't necessarily lose weight, but it
Mhm.
redistributed your weight. And
Correct.
that's where, yeah, women were not, you know, when they were younger, that's all they wanted. And when we're older, we don't need that. The tables get turned. But yeah, understanding those things and not just, oh, it's a part of aging. No, don't do that. I was cleaning out in my basement, and there is a picture, and I'll have to send it to you because it's back when we still had cartoons.
Okay.
It's a woman with an older man in a grocery cart, and he's got on a hospital gown, and he's looking rather frail, and she's pushing this cart with this frail man, and the doctor says, "No, ma'am, this is, you know, oh, the cash for clunkers is not part of Obamacare." And then and I think I saw on your post that you had one that says, you know, when we're standing in the lines, you know, we want
Yes.
younger, healthier people, but we're not willing to make that lifestyle change.
Exactly.
And that lifestyle is probably what got us in that line, wanting better healthcare, wanting that longevity that we don't have it ourselves.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is with a lot of people, and there's so much noise out there, right, as to what is right, what isn't right. And of course, me, Amanda, we're always sharing what is proven by science, right? And what have we tried ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not something that we usually say, this is trendy and let's do that. And last night on some of our training, one of our friends was talking about how everyone's using Ozempic, right, to get skinny, right? They're trying to find that silver bullet. But once again, Ozempic is just another toxin that's going into your body that is going to cause some other problems down the road. Because at the end of the day, like I said, toxins, they disrupt your hormones, right? You know, which can cause weight gain. You talk about weight gain. It can cause man boobs. It can cause undesirable hormone changes, right? And of course, it can totally wipe out your energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, because a toxic overload, it's hard for energy. But you know what's worse, a lot of people don't understand is when your body is toxed up, you do get oxidative damage, right? You get inflammation, right? Inflammation in every part of your body, and that does become an problem because that's almost like inflammation, right? You're aging because you have so much inflammation, right? And with that, you know, now you got this problem, got problems, you got brain, you know, clarity problems, brain fog, and depending on how bad it can get, some of these toxins can lead to cancer.
And I think that we need to be vigilant in how we define inflammation. Most
Mhm.
people think of inflammation as being joint pain, when your joints are
Yes.
swollen, and that's inflammation that hurts. Or
Mhm.
if you have, you know, swelling and you have the edema, and you're thinking of swelling that we can see and feel. There's
Mhm.
so much more swelling that goes on. That swelling of the arteries, creating that hardening of the arteries, the
Mhm.
swelling in those tissues that you can't see.
Correct.
You don't know there's swelling problems, and that inflammation is going on systemically. It's not
Yes.
just in your joints and feet.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And like sort of like what you're saying, depending on where the inflammation's going, that's where you're gonna have problems, right? You know, if you have inflammation going to your eyes, that you can have
Mhm.
floaters, you can start seeing flashes of light, you can start having blurry vision, right? And that's not a normal thing. That's not something that is due to just aging,
No.
right? You know, I'm having a lot of friends and clients talking about, well, you know, they're seeing some floaters, and when they went to a doctor, oh, that's just part of aging. I think that's bullshit, right? Like, I'm sorry, you know, it's like if that's the case, then everyone that's old is blind and have floaters. Well, not everyone has it, and if
No.
you're younger and you have it, it's not part of aging. Something else has caused it. Some toxins got
Yeah.
into your body and caused inflammation in your eyes,
Mhm.
right? You know, whatever way it have caused, and then like for people that have so much brain fog right now, or right now you see so many there are so many commercials, and it is so bad. Me minute we cut cable specifically, right, thinking that we'll never see commercials, but of course, you know, we get Hulu, and I'll be honest, I don't want to say I'm cheap, but you know, I'm cost conscious, so we get Hulu free from our cellular provider. So of course we get the Hulu of ads, right? And you know, to get rid of the ads, you have to pay extra $10 a month. I'm not going to pay extra $10 just to get
Oh,
ads, right?
and so Chris has been home after he had surgery,
Yeah,
and he's been watching TV, and there's only so much you can watch on the
yeah,
streaming networks, and you end up watching, because I have a Samsung TV, and so you get Samsung's free TV,
yes, yes, yes,
which is all the shows,
yes,
and then you realize how much you've gotten spoiled by stream, by being able to pause
yes,
things and do all that stuff.
correct, correct.
But the commercials, and I would say that 9 out of every 10 commercials are about a medication, a
Yeah.
new medication. And when I worked at the medical office, I would routinely walk in and ask the doctor, says, "Well, is whatever right for me?" And she would look at me like I said, "Well, the commercial said, ask your doctor."
Right, that is insane. I love what you just said there,
Yeah,
right?
because it says ask your doctor, and it doesn't. And then when everything came through and they had to start reading all the side effects,
Mhm.
if you listen to half of those side effects, why would you even consider taking it?
Exactly.
And that's where the Ozempic trend and some of those other trends. Do you understand what the mechanism is doing? Do you understand what it's doing to your body to convince you to stop eating?
Mhm.
If you knew that, and I don't know exactly for sure to speak intelligently, so go do the research and see what it is, what it's causing, what is it creating in your body to stop this from happening. And a lot of the diabetic medicines, I know, like the
Mhm.
Jardiance takes all that sugar and it circumvents going through your system, but then it dumps all that sugar that would normally process through your organs, it dumps it straight into your bladder. And because it's doing that, that's why women who take Jardiance usually end up with yeast infections. It's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
you know,
Makes
that
sense.
how many pills can we give one person?
Exactly. Exactly. But it's funny, you jumped the gun on me about the commercials, and I love that. But one of the things that I am seeing so much of, and they're making all these new names now, like literally, they're creating diseases. Like every night I'm watching, there's this new disease I've never heard about, right? But a lot of it is revolved around skin infections, like psoriasis, eczema, and it's like, and the funny thing is, when your skin has inflammation like that, like when you start getting the blotches like that, it's your body telling you, I cannot get rid of the toxins fast enough. And I'm going to use the biggest organ you got on your body, which is your skin. And that's literally what's happening is your body is so overloaded with toxins. And literally the toxins is coming out of your skin,
Mhm.
right? But like you said, go ask your doctor for this drug or that drug, because maybe we can help you get rid of some of this redness and stuff.
And
And you
every
look
one
at
of
it.
those biologics,
Yeah.
you have to have a TB test beforehand. You have to have a hepatitis. You have to have all these tests to make sure that your body is strong enough to
Yes.
withstand the side effects and what this medication is going to do to your body. Now, if you have to go through a whole bunch of medical tests to start on a new medication,
That should be a red flag.
yeah, just think about what you're asking of your body. and
Right.
read all those side effects. Are you real?
And
And I know, and I've worked with patients for years who have that level of desperation.
mhm,
But understand, if it's detoxing, your body's trying to detox. What is your body telling you? When you have
exactly.
pain, that is the signal. You need to stop and rethink things. When you're sick, stop and rethink. When your
Yes.
skin is bursting forth with who knows
Hmm.
what are you doing to your system? What can you change in your life to create a benefit rather than adding another toxin? Because I think most medications, yes, there's a time and a place for some of them, but a lot of them are just such a hindrance to your body. They're just so taxing because now it'll do what it does for your body, but then your body also has to filter it out through the liver and kidneys.
Exactly. And I think what you said there was perfect. There's a time and a place for medicine. And I believe certain medication for whatever emergencies, if it's for short term, I'm okay with that. I really don't believe that your life should be dependent on using some medication long term, because at some point you're going to need another medication to fix the side effects of that first medication. And it's a domino effect. It's horrible. Like there's not one single person that I talk to that takes medication and they take one. They usually take like 4 or 5,
Mm-hmm.
because one covers the side effects of the other. But the scary thing, like, I just want to loop back a little bit about all these skin conditions. If you look at the side effects, may lower your immune system,
Mm-hmm.
right? May cause destruction of your liver and kidneys,
Mm-hmm.
and can cause cancer and death, right? So once again, I can't. I never had eczema. Minna had eczema, and so I experienced through her how bad it can be,
Mm-hmm.
right? She healed her eczema naturally, right, by getting rid of all the toxins in her body. Like, her body is just so heavily overloaded with heavy metals. And the funny thing is, we found out later it's not from her diet, but it's from her diet from her mom, right? So her
Mm-hmm.
mom basically
I've
passed
read that
all that
study.
over,
Yes.
right? So when she finally detoxed all these heavy metals out of her body, she never got eczema anymore, right? But for the longest time, they were giving her topical steroids. They're giving all these things for her, which changed the color of the skin, and it jacked her hormones and everything. And it was still itchy, right? So once again, I think when your body is giving you all these signs that it is literally screaming for help, you don't want to cover it up,
Right.
right? Work with someone that's holistic, or doctor that's going to be able to listen to you to figure out what the root causes are, and then attack them rather than just covering it up with a cream, right? So
Well, and I
that's
know,
what we want to talk about there.
I've gone to doctors before and I said, okay, I noticed this is happening. Can you tell me why it's happening? I don't want medication. And they look at
Mhm.
you like, well, why are you here then?
Yes.
Well, I'm here because I want to understand what's happening. I want to know what my
Mhm.
options are. And I don't want to go a medication route. And they
Yes.
just look at you like you're insane. It's like,
Yes.
what do you mean you don't want a pill? And I did the eczema thing. I had eczema on my feet.
Yep.
And I was given well, we won't say the name. I was given one of those medicines, and it was a tube that I probably would have taken a lifetime to use, but it only came in that size for $800.
Mhm.
And I would use it, and the eczema would disappear in 3 or 4 days, and then in 2 or 3 days, it was back. And it's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
okay, there's got to be something else. And so
Yes.
I went to my homeopathic bag of
Mhm.
tricks, and I treated it with the Bach essence. And I
Mhm.
treated it. Now I did have to treat it longer. I
Mhm.
treated it for 2 or 3 weeks, but that was 3 years ago, and I've not treated it again.
And I think what you just said there really, hit the nail on his head. A lot of people are so used to the silver bullet analogy. It's like, if they got an itch, they want to take a pill to stop the itching,
Hmm.
right? But whatever caused that itch may not be instant. It may have been over time. So it's something that, me and you always talk about too, right? If it takes your body to develop a condition over a period of time, it's going to take a period of time to repair it,
Yeah, you
right?
didn't get this way overnight.
Exactly, right. But the point is, I think the body, when it's supported properly, can repair itself,
Hmm.
right? It's just that we need to give it proper support. But anyways, because we can go down the rabbit hole really long
Oh, we
here.
can.
Uh let's
We are
go
good
over.
at that, Andy. We are so good.
Let's go over some signs of being toxic overload. I'll name a few. You can name a few. See what you can think of. We already talked a little bit about fatigue, right? A lot of people are always low in energy, reaching for the coffee, reaching for the caffeine, the energy drink. You cannot believe how many people I see holding energy drinks now, right? And they think that's better than the coffee. And then we talked about brain fog. We just obviously talk about the rashes and skin outbreaks. What are some other signs that you're familiar with, specifically with women too? Because a lot of women, they just don't really realize they have toxic overload.
Well, I think so. We need to define what toxins are. Toxins can be from your food, from not eating properly, so having a poor diet, as well as the chemicals and things that are in our food that are processed into our food that have become a part of our diet, the environmental chemical things. But it's also toxic to have stress, that long-term stress. I mean, stress is toxic. I had clients today float. It was someone who had never floated before, and they floated, and he was talking about, he went to get out and he felt really, really weak. And this is a person who is in good health. And it's like, yeah, that's your body detoxing, and we're not talking about drugs and alcohol, because that's another thing, another toxin, but just the stresses that we carry with us. And so for women, I think a lot of this toxic overload and stuff, and considering all of the areas that you can get toxicity from, I think the mood, being very irritable, angering easily, being very emotional, all of those things are an imbalance. And then looking at, weight gain, weight loss.
I love that. Yeah.
Those are, we think that's part of normal yo-yoing, but some of it's your body's response to it. So if it's something that's out of the norm for you, you need to look at it. Your sleep, too much sleep, too little sleep. Those can also be part of the toxicity. So not just going, oh, well, I slept bad, or, look at what's going on and all of the environmental factors that go into that. So that's a few. Dehydration, I think, is one of the biggest ones. The solution to the pollution is dilution.
I love that.
Got that from the doctor there. So when your body is full of toxins, one of the easiest, quickest things that you can do to start heading things in the right way is to dilute that pollutant. Dilute it down so that you can filter it out of your body. If you're continuously reaching for that energy drink or the coffee or the tea or whatever, and a lot of men, you're talking about men and the man boobs. Beer is a estrogen-based. Hops is a flower. When you're looking at all these plant-based things, plant-based things are estrogen.
Yes.
And men who do the hormone therapy, in the office that I was in, we did the bioidentical hormones, and men needed to come in and get rechecked because they can start turning testosterone into estrogen. Yes. And they get really whiny. Their wife,
I can imagine.
Oh my God, I like some of this stuff, but no, he's whiny, he's crying. And there's a lot of things to, make sure you understand everything. So start hydrate yourself and help to flush out those fluids, especially when you are taking the medications, and maybe you need them for a short term, but you still got to flush it out. You got to give your body some extra power there to wash stuff down.
I love it. I just wanted to add two more, symptoms, because it's something that me and Minna have noticed a lot lately in this last 3 years, because we've been watching so much TV. It's like that's our way to unwind. At the end of the day, we'll binge watch a series, right?
You let the TV watch you.
Yeah, right. And I don't want to get in trouble by saying this on TV. Some other doctor used this term, not me. I did not create this term, right? But they call it the COVID phase, right? And what it is there's so much swelling in, like if you look at a lot of the actors, they almost got the Alvin and the Chipmunk cheeks. So they got the chipmunk cheeks. and then their necks have these rings.
Oh.
Right? But they're not fat. Like those are normally signs when you get really fat and you lose weight, but they're just swollen. Right. And once again, it was like when 3 years ago, when the whole vaccine scenario came out, that's when me and Minna started noticing it. And I said, I bet you that's because of the vaccine. We're half joking, half serious. But once again, since I've been talking with Nicola Rocher with the Macula Foundation, and a lot of the studies are showing, well, that's toxin overload, right? Your body, it's just swelling you up on the inside. Right. So it's sort of scary. So puffiness is another sign of toxic overload. Like some people almost have those, sometimes when people say, I didn't get enough sleep. Well, it's not just enough sleep. Your liver is so toxicated. You got like almost like those swollen, puffy eyes. Right. So a lot of times your body is always showing signs that something is
that you say that about the puffiness in the face. When I have done different homeopathic detoxes, and in homeopathy, you have a response. It's not a reaction, it's a response. And traditionally, when I do those, when I wake up in the morning, my face is swollen. If I've done a detox overnight, my face will be swollen. Like my phone won't recognize me. I can't unlock my phone. And,
I love it.
And that's what it is. It's those toxins coming out, and it goes away.
But it goes away
for a
though. See,
couple
that's
hours.
the thing though. See, that's where the difference is. When your body is supported, that is your natural way of getting it out. But if you're keeping that apple face, something is going on, right? And it is a shame, because it's like we'll be watching TV. Oh, that person's got it. That person's got it. That person's got it. And it's like the whole season, right? And a season could be filmed over a year, so it's not like something that's a few days, right? And for some of these people, it's over 2 seasons, and they still have it now after 3 years. So something's going on, because like literally, it's very obvious. It's almost I can't even replicate it. It's like, like these lines over their neck, and I was thinking that's just bizarre, right? But that's just another sign, like I said, when your body's crying for help, that there's so much toxins built up in it. So let's go with some simple detox protocols. You talk about flushing it out, with water. I think that's important, because like you said, so many people are dehydrated without knowing it. What are some other things that you suggest, especially like we talk about with all the skincare and body care and stuff like that?
Well, I think, just keeping, I don't know, all I can think of is the vitamin C detox.
Yes.
The vitamin C and charcoal to sweat it out. And and that's something you need a practitioner that's trained to talk you through that. That is not me.
Yeah, like a high dose.
And I don't think that's a Vogue magazine, but but just, I think the biggest one is going to be to, eat cleaner and healthier. And hydration, I think, is one of the biggest things that I think you can do to detox your body. That's going to be I'm going to table it there, because I know you have a whole list to go through.
There isn't that big of a list. Hydration is one of them. And I got to tell you, me and Minna, we do go Costco shopping for certain things, like our Bounty or our Charmin toilet tissue. But the thing that drives me nuts when I see these people buying those family packs of the Costco water. Right. And the thing that is crazy, and this is not even being conspiracy, because this is actually tested, like third party tested. All the Costco water is tap water, for one. Like they're literally tap water. Maybe not the local tap water. It's somebody's tap water. I don't know where they're
tap water.
But it's somebody's tap water. But then on top of that, they're in plastic bottles. Right? That is
the cheap, squishy.
Exactly. So you got all the
fluffing plastic bottles.
Exactly. And like I said, so here we are. We're talking about the estrogen mimickers, right? The plastic bottles are horrible. So when we're talking about hydration, please find a good water filter system at home to drink from. Right. And then when you go out, you really don't have much control of that. But at least you spend most of your time at home, at least drink a clean source of water rather than grabbing for a Costco bottle of water.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
see,
like
and I always was money conscious enough that those pre-bottled waters, those were only when you couldn't fill up your own cup at home.
Yeah.
And at home we drink from
as an
glass.
emergency, I can understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, this should be your main source. But I was about to say, like, even Fiji water, you know, how they said, oh, bottled from Hawaii, which is total, or Fiji or whatever, total BS. I think they have a recall on it because they have such a high level of manganese and contamination. Like, our body needs it, but not at that high levels.
Again,
Right.
that one bottle is good. A case is not.
Exactly.
And I think that's, everything in moderation, because you can overhydrate too. We've talked about that in the past. But yeah, being aware of what you're getting. Read those third-party labs. That's third-party things, because no one is going to say my product is not good for you. No one's going to come out and do that.
Exactly.
They'll tell you the good parts of, we have clean plastic or whatever.
Exactly.
So look at those third-party things, and look at the third-party things on everything you're looking at. Not necessarily when you're shopping from the box store, looking at, you want to look at those reviews of people who's actually bought it, and not necessarily the ones that are published by that company. The same thing. So when you're surfing to buy something, you're going to go to, what is the electronics? Who's the electronic?
Best Buy.
Well, not Best Buy. There used to be a magazine that did all your reviews.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Is that Crutchfield? No,
there was anyway. You're going to go to someone who tests all of them.
Yes.
Who are not sponsored, who are not paid, because again, this is a follow the money thing. If I'm getting paid by somebody, well, personally, I wouldn't do it, but you're not going to pay me to say something good if it's not there.
Exactly.
And if something's good, I'm going to do it without paying. So you want unpaid. And that's what a third party is. A third party is, they don't have a vested interest. They're not getting paid by anybody. They're just testing everything across the board and putting their results out there. So that's where you want to look, whether it's for electronics, for travel, for products you buy, for food, for restaurants, and definitely for, water, because there's plenty of those studies out there.
Exactly. Your water, your skincare, your cleaning products, your laundry detergent and stuff like that. A lot of people don't realize that. I used to use Tide. I don't use it anymore. A lot of people that have sensitive skin is because of these major brands of laundry detergent. And then also, this is one I'm guilty of all the synthetic clothing, right? I always joke, when I was at BNI, they always say, name something no one knows about you. And then one of the times I stood up, I said, I think I have maybe more Lululemon gear than my wife, right? Guys don't even know what the hell that is, right? What the hell are you talking about, right? And it's funny because I've been seeing all these studies, all these anti-stink, all these stretch and comfortable stuff. It's all synthetic. And there are studies that it can cause a lower testosterone, has chemicals and stuff like that. But the fact is, it's sort of like what you said in the very beginning. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying. You cannot do all these things that we're telling you about. We want you to be aware of them. So
do your own research.
Exactly. So I'm not cutting my Lululemon. I'm still wearing all my Lululemon. And it was really funny. We were at the Lululemon store the other night, and now they're actually selling organic cotton T-shirts, which are they're just not as comfortable as the regular gear. So I didn't buy it, of course. But like I said, knowing that the stuff that you choose to include in your life, keep in your life, we need to have a detox protocol for that. Right. So, so that's why for me, it's so important. Like you said, hydration, the sweating it out, infrared light. Right. We talked a few episodes back about the lymphatic system, right? Supporting your lymphatic system. That's another great way to support your detox system, right? So I think right now, like today, we're not trying to scare everyone because There's 80,000 toxins out there, right? like you said, even we're living in a bubble. The bubble will be toxic.
Bubble would be toxic.
Right? It's about making better choices, right? And then for the things that you're going to be continuously exposed to, what are you going to do about it, right? And one of the other things that's really good, I think, is on a diet aspect, is eating more cruciferous, like the broccoli, the cauliflower, the cabbage, and stuff like that. Some people hate that, but apparently that's really good for getting rid of toxins. The cilantro, like the parsley, and stuff like that too. Right. So there are natural ways. And of course, the charcoal for the binding and stuff like that. There's a lot of great ways. But we always like to end, because I am so excited with LifeWave products. And, like people know that both me and you, we support LifeWave as a brand. And it's a brand partner for us, because we support it. We like using the products to support what we do for our lifestyle. Right. And the liver obviously is your biggest detox organ, and we already talked about how a lot of the drugs can hurt your liver. A lot of these toxins, if it's overloaded, your liver cannot get rid of all these toxins fast enough, right? So there are, supporting your liver is probably one of the best ways to do it. And there are supplements you can use to support your liver, and I'm sure there are some holistic ways that you can think of through homeopathy to support the liver too, right?
It depends on what specific part that yes, there are ways. And what I really want to include is, a lot of people will say, oh, I used to drink in the day, so I've probably my liver's already shot. When you stop doing all those toxic things, your liver can regenerate.
Yes.
Your liver can. So it is worthwhile. I don't care what you did in the past. If you, it's like if you've learning from our mistakes, or learning to do things differently, and to appreciate and respect our body, given the opportunity, the liver can regenerate. I mean, I, working in a medical office, had access to people's, I worked with people who had a liver of they were in their 40s, and they had a liver of a 90-year-old alcoholic.
Yep.
And within months, that was reverted back to a normal, healthy liver.
Exactly. It can be reversed very quickly. Like you said, the body, once it's supported, and the liver is one of the amazing organs that can actually regenerate itself. And it's interesting, because a lot of times when we go to see a doctor, they don't always look at your liver enzymes. And I think that's very important. That's a very major detox organ, right? Yeah. So whenever I'm looking at people's labs, I'm saying, well, where are the labs? And he said, this is just like the most basic stuff. How do they know that you're not toxed up? He said, oh, he said, I'm all good. And I'm like, okay. But that's another story. But anyways, like I said, the SP6 is a great product that have studies shown that it can help support the liver. So of course, stop drinking, stop taking all the, the bad stuff that is toxing up your liver, right? Eating clean, drinking cleaner water. And this will be a great way to support the liver. Another thing that is really great for detoxifying toxins, is not even a word, to get rid of toxins, is using glutathione, right? And there are many ways to get glutathione. You can take it orally, you can take it through intravenously. I think it's very popular now. People get IV of glutathione. People are getting IV of NAD, NAC, to try to boost glutathione naturally, right? Which they all work, but depending, like you said, it's still about consistency and how much it's going to cost you over time. And if you're scared of needles, that's maybe not even something that you want to do, right? So once again, we love the glutathione from LifeWave, which actually elevates your glutathione 300% daily, which is really quite insane if you think about that.
Yeah.
Right. He's even going like the IV route, it's like maybe 30%.
And the fact that you have room for it to grow by 300% tells you how low most people are.
Exactly.
And that's why. But I love the glutathione, I guess, whenever I get like a scratchy throat.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
it works
put that patch on, and within a couple of hours, when you feel like you've got that like a strep throat coming on, and I've
Yep.
never been one to have strep, but I get a sore throat every once in a while.
Yep.
Slap a patch on, we're good. You know,
And it's funny. It's like I use it whenever I travel, right? Because of course we got germs everywhere. But it's really funny. You know how sometimes when you drink certain foods, it's either too sour or something, but there's something that's making you want to cough it out, and you just cannot get rid of that damn cough. The other day, I just slapped the glutathione right under my chin, and like instantly, it went away. I was like, "Wow, this is great!" You know, like, so, or
yeah, and even if and
you have to, you can't stop it, right? And gone, right? Like it's sort of magical. Once again, you know, we're not saying it can heal or it, you know, any diseases. You know, this is not medicine, but you know, we're just sharing what
gives
we have.
your body the opportunity to correct itself and to do what it needs to do when you give it the right support. And all of these are just support. It's, you know, it's letting that light that you're emitting anyway. You know, we want to be energy efficient here with our light and allow it to come back into us and do, because that's the science behind the LifeWave patches. It's all reflecting the light that you're giving off naturally. You don't have to go out and exercise. If you are exercising, it's going to, you know, the X49s are great at helping you to balance the energy enhancers. There's so many different there. It sounds like there's a ton of different patches. There's far more uses for the patches than there are patches.
Correct.
So it's not even a hard thing to learn or create a lot of confusion with the patches.
And of course, you know, we always lead with the foundation, the X39, which also boosts glutathione for detox support, but it does boost GHKCU, which has many benefits to the body. It resets genes, it upregulates the genes that you need, it downregulates the genes that you don't want, right? Especially like a lot of these toxins that's being put in through your body or maybe through a needle, maybe upregulating genes that you don't want, right? So this can downregulate those genes, turn those genes off too, right? And that has some of the benefits of GHKCU. And that's what the X39 does. It elevates the GHKCU. And, you know, the most amazing thing I always love about the GHKCU is you get better skin health, you get faster recovery, you boosting your immune system. But, you know, the amazing thing is there's studies showing that it activates your stem cells, both dormant stem cells and new stem cells. So when it comes down to using these products, it's sort of like Amanda just said, I don't like wasting anything. Like that's something my grandfather taught me. And, you know, and he taught me in the worst way because he always told me to eat all your food on your plate. And that's worst advice nowadays, because especially in Texas, our plates are so huge. But, you know, the point is, if there's something, please don't waste it. And all of us, we are naturally giving light off. And many of us is wasting that light, right? So we should be able to tap onto this light. And that's what the LifeWave patches do, is they're using your own light and heat energy for you to basically reboot and recharge yourself, which is just amazing. It's non-transdermal, no drugs at all, right? It is really one of the things that I love to include in all my protocols. And I know Amanda's been doing it in, you know, her protocols too. But if anything, it's the easiest way to remember. You put it on for 12 hours and you take it off when you sleep, right? As opposed to other protocols, which may take more reminding to do, or take it out during these times. You have to take it with food. You have to take it before food. You know what I'm saying? This is easy. Take your shower.
Wear your patch and drink your water.
Exactly. And then you're good, right? So it's just so exciting. So if anyone has any questions about toxins in general, how to detox it out, if you're thinking that you have symptoms of overloaded toxins, please reach out to me, Amanda. You know, we love to have a consult with you to see if we're a good fit to work with you. And of course, if you want to find out more about these amazing LifeWave patches, reach out to either one of us. Like, our contact information's right on there. You can reach me at chronicallyhealthylife.com. Both me and Amanda, we have 30-minute free consults. You know, you can book them longevityofandy.com. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, Amanda?
Through amandabethhealing.com. And you can do /Linktree, and you can find all my socials if you want to reach out to me on the socials as well.
Exactly. And I do want to boost my next episode coming up. Let's see if it show up. I am going to be having Nicholas Hosher back, and I was just emailing and texting him this morning. What do you want to talk about? And he says, well, let's talk about turbo cancers and what the deal is really showing about it, and the all the ways of treating cancer that's people aren't hearing about, and the studies that show that they actually work. And he says, also he thinks it's sort of important to talk about how our genomes is being changed. So it's going to be an interesting topic for sure. This is not going to be like our traditional show. We're going to have them for the whole hour, and it's going to be something that is very interesting. So if you or your family or friends out there, anyone that has cancer or had cancer, this is going to be one of those episodes you don't want to miss. And of course, this is happening Friday night at 7 p.m. So if there's any questions anyone wants to ask, please text me and I'll ask him. This is live on TV. He's going to have to give you an answer. And the beauty of Nicholas and the McCullough Foundation is everything they say is backed by peer-reviewed science. It's not they say, he says. Everything is peer-reviewed, and a lot of it, if they do their studies, they're looking at studies not just locally in the U.S., but around the world. So this is going to be
have that reach.
Pretty exciting, right? So reach out to us. And of course, you can always find me and Amanda at chronichealthcollective.com. You can book us through there too, along with signing up for our magazine. We got a magazine every month, and we have a Chronic Health Collective show every Tuesday where you can watch the latest episode on the website too. But next to that, is there anything else you want to share, Amanda?
Oh, you asked about signs of toxicity, and I thought of it and I let it go. Yellowing of the eyes.
Oh, yes.
Having that jaundice. I mean,
Yes.
babies, we hear about babies being jaundiced and having that yellow skin and the yellow of the eyes. That's a huge liver indicator. Yeah. I remember my brother-in-law had this yellow eye. It's like, this is crazy. No, it was his contacts were old. He was fine. But it gave me a scare, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at your skin color, the color is off. There's something's off. So yeah. That was my last tidbit.
I tell you, all the viewers out there, me and Amanda's is a wealth of information. And we always say, if we don't got the information, we know someone that does. Yep. So definitely reach out to us with any of your holistic health questions. We're not saying we know it all, but we can definitely help you reach someone that be able to help you with whatever you're suffering with right now. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. Hopefully next week I'll meet John Amanda on his Transformation Tuesday, but we'll be back next Wednesday. Goodbye now.
Bye.